Hi guys, this is Bianca Blakeney Freeman and I am here doing my discussion for Module 4. The first question that I want to answer is, how do people in your discipline typically communicate? And what I teach is, I teach EC courses, so special education courses, and for the most part, my classes are social emotional based, and it's done through curriculum assistance. In addition to that, I have group sessions throughout the day to work on social emotional skills, and most of these sessions are done through collaborative discussion technique described in the article, Making Cooperative Learning Powerful. Okay, within the discussion, I aim to have collaboration from all of the students on whatever topic that we're studying, and we also communicate. We try to do a lot of independent communication, back and forth, raising questions, thought-provoking questions. And then I also try to incorporate literature pieces on topic with social emotional learning that we skim through, and we do different reading strategies with. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. The second question is, which collaborative conversation strategy from the reading suits your needs as an educator the most? And for me, from the article, Why Talk is Important, guided conversation is a strategy that suits my needs in the classroom better. And the reason is because, again, I am in speak courses, and for my students, they're not going to tell you what they're lacking. They're fearful of that. They don't want people to think that they're dumb or that they didn't learn. So instead of telling you what they need help on, which a higher level student will be more willing to communicate that to you, my students are not. They're either going to act out, or they are going to refuse to do the work because they just don't know. So the reason behind me doing guided conversation is that because of their deficits of reading comprehension skills and them having no idea what strategy to use when reading, guided conversation seems to be the best technique for me. And by doing this, I feel that the students will be better able to tackle an independent reading comprehension task, because I will be able to essentially model what they need to be looking for within the text. And then we can also pose thought-provoking questions as we read. And I can kind of, like I said before, model that for them, so that when they move on to more independent tasks, they can think about the things that we together as a guided conversation talked about. And the last question that we're going to answer is, what have I learned from the module? And for me, I have learned that reading, writing, and speech are learned concurrently. Talk is important. Speech is important in developing language proficiency for all students, but more importantly, the English language students. And the book sort of pointed out how English language learners may have different reasonings for learning the language or not learning the language. They may be here for a little bit of time for to gain money for their families, or to study, and then they're going to go back to their home country. So they may not be as invested in learning the language. Whereas for me, I see more of the students that are English language learners are invested, because they're going back and they're helping their parents. So it is important that we speak well, that we incorporate language into our lessons, and we just use those strategies that were listed in the text. With that being said, it's easy to see the importance of talking at each level in the development of oral language. If you don't talk to a student, or if you don't talk to a child, they're not going to develop the language needed in order to answer questions or on a higher level, especially in class. this has also been proven over the course of classroom instructional methods that students are better able to learn and understand. What I would like to know from my classmates is, how do you facilitate collaborative discussion with students that are reluctant to share out of fear of being labeled a slow learner? I pose this question as a EC teacher, and I want to learn more strategies to take back to my general ed teachers to say this is what works for my students. So thank you, and I hope you find that my discussion worthy and thought-provoking.